So I want to start off talking about fiction. Usborne and Kane Miller Publishing do fiction in such a wonderful way. The books are educational. They incorporate rhythm, rhyme, and repetition, but they also introduce classics in a way that's very approachable and can make even the youngest reader fall in love with these stories. The first book I want to show you is called Blue Whale Blues. It's a newer book by Kane Miller Publishing. It's an adorable story. So in the book, the whale is singing the blues, and his friend, the penguin, hears and wants to help. So the first thing that the whale is upset about is his bike has fallen over. And the bike is a shopping cart. So it's a very quirky story. By the end of the story, the whale and the penguin both realize kind of how silly these predicaments are. And it's just a fun story that the child in your life is going to love. The next thing I want to show you is the very first reading set by Usborne. So this comes with 15 hardcover books. They're all in order and they come in this case, so you can easily put them back. The first book in this series is called Pirate Pat. And the cool thing about these books is they have a part for the adult to read, and then they have a part for the child to read. So this is for children that are just starting to learn how to read. So the adult reads, "The night was cold, the sky was black, the window rattled," and the child reads, "Tap, tap, tap." So as these books go on, this is book number 1, and as it gets to book number 15, it just gets, the words and the sentences get just slightly more challenging. And they also have puzzles in the back that can test the child's reading comprehension. So these books comes with 15. There's also what's called the Start to Read pack that comes with 8 of these books. So there's 2 different sets that you can choose from. The next one I want to show you is the Usborne Book of Fairy Tales. So this is what's called a dual reader. And Usborne makes several of these. They make a book of farmyard tales. They make a going to the dentist, a going to the doctor story. They make a book of princesses. So the cool thing about these books, first of all, they're a great value because they have several stories in them in one binding. The awesome thing about them is they have the top line in them that you can read, and the top line all the way across through the whole story makes sense in and of itself. So you could read the top line, if you're kind of trying to rush at bedtime, or you have kind of a child with a shorter attention span. And then as the child grows, you can add in the second line, which just kind of adds some more detail to the story. So you can read, "That's Cinderella looking out of the window. They make her work all day." Or you can add some more detail into the story. "That's Cinderella looking out of the window. She lives with her stepmother and 2 ugly stepsisters. They are always really horrible to her. They make her work all day." So then this book grows even further with them to when they first start reading, and the child can read the first line, and the adult or older sibling can read the second line. So it makes them, again, feel like they're reading a part of a much larger story. The next thing I want to show you is the illustrated collections from Usborne. So the first one is Illustrated Stories from Dickens. And no joke, my husband just finished reading the abridged version of Great Expectations to our 6-month-old. So like I said, Usborne makes these classics much more approachable. So there's this one, there's Illustrated Stories from Dickens. There's also Illustrated Stories from Shakespeare, which contains, Shakespeare's classic plays. And these books are very easy to read. They have these beautiful illustrations in them, and they don't have very many words per page, so it just makes these classics just much more accessible to a younger reader. Usborne also, in the same style, does just a full classic book. So they'll do The Wizard of Oz, they do Treasure Island, and Heidi are just a few of the ones that they do. And those are actually unabridged versions. And it has the same, they have the illustrations, not too many words per page. So by the time a child finishes reading them, they don't even realize that they've read a more difficult classic. And these books are very durable. They're really, really well made. So I highly recommend these. The very last book I want to show you is the Conspiracy 365 series. So technically these books are for ages 10 and older, but I actually know of a lot of adults that have really gotten into these stories. So it starts in January is the first book, and it goes all the way through December. And the books are full of action and suspense and adventure, and they've actually been known to make the most reluctant reader really love reading. So these are just a few of the selections of fiction that Usborne and Kane Miller have to offer. We have books and series from very, very young readers all the way to young adult. So anything that your child is interested in, or any reading level that they're kind of matching up with, we have something for them. So just ask me any questions and let me know what your child is interested in.